What's up, everybody? Doc Dark 1985. There's levels to this. All right, so I saw this news and automatically, like that, I knew that I was gonna make a video about it, just giving you my opinion, and hopefully you guys could let me see a different perspective. You guys are like my sounding board. Let me know what I'm missing that I'm not understanding. Okay. So apparently, Phil Spencer from Xbox came out and said that Sony and Nintendo are not Xbox direct competition. He said that Google and Amazon is who they're looking at as competition. Now here's the deal, right? When I think about competition and who is and who's not competition, I'll put it like this, right? Um, the Los Angeles Lakers are not in competition against the Dallas Cowboys, right? That's pretty obvious. Now, here's the thing: they both play a sport, right? And they both technically compete for views, if you want to say that. But as far as the actual competition, that two different type of sports, right? So not quite the same. Okay, I'll give you a better analogy. Old Navy is not in competition with, let's say, I don't know, Microsoft, right? That you could clearly say, they're not in competition with them, right? But to have the arrogance to say that you're not worried, or your direct competitor is not Sony or Nintendo, when you literally are in the console business, right? Now, if Microsoft as a whole said that they're not worried about Sony and Nintendo because they do other stuff, they make other products, that's fair. Well, by that same token, Sony can say the same thing because Sony doesn't only make the Sony PlayStation. You guys do know that, right? They make other products, right? So the issue I'm not having is not Microsoft saying this. The issue I'm having is Phil Spencer from Xbox saying that the PS5 and the Nintendo Switch is not direct competition with them. Okay, the Nintendo Switch you can argue maybe, right, because it's part of this generation's console, but regardless, right, it's just strange. Anyways, so the reason I have an issue with this is number one, you are in competition with Sony. Like how do you think that you're not? When your console drops, the Sony console will drop as well, and consumers are gonna be buying whichever one they prefer, which then makes that a competition. How do you think it's not a competition? Blows my mind. Why you think you're in competition with Google and why you think you're in competition with Amazon, and that blows my mind as well, because now when you mention Google, right, you didn't say Google Stadia, you said Google. That's a completely different entity. You can't even compete with that. Xbox can. Microsoft maybe. Xbox cannot compete with Google. Okay, Xbox cannot compete with Amazon. Not even close, right? So I don't even know what console Amazon has even out. So what are you even talking about? Like what are we doing here? Like, yes, you could tell I'm frustrated because this doesn't make any sense to me. Because here's the thing, as a consumer, I want you to feel like you're in competition because I want you to make a superior product. That's why. That's why I want it. Now this all not having exclusive stuff makes sense because you think you got to compete against people that you're not they're not even worried about you. Look, Google Stadia flopped or whatever you want to call it. Google ain't tripping. Google's not losing any sleep over that. Trust me, they're not. They're not. They're going to be perfectly fine. But let's go back. Another issue that I have a problem with, right? You're saying, I think the real disrespect is at Sony. That's what I feel like. Because you're saying that you're not in competition with Sony, but Sony mopped the floor with you this generation. Just just destroyed you this generation. How, how are you not in competition with them? Now, if you were to come out and say, you know what, the Xbox Series X is not coming out and we're not making any actual console, we're just going to plainly focus on cloud gaming, okay, now you got a better argument. But as long as you're coming out with a hardware and Sony's coming out with a hardware, right? And Nintendo has a hardware out right now. I mean, you're in competition, homie. I don't know what you want me to tell you. What are you competing with Google? Google Stadia doesn't stand a chance against this generation's console. And streaming is not there yet. It is not there yet. I don't know why everyone's like all hyped over streaming and all this other stuff. It's not there yet. You gotta wait. We gotta wait, okay? Man, this thing's frustrating. Because to come out and say that you're not in competition with the people that destroyed you the year before or the or the generation before makes no sense to me. The Nintendo Switch, even though it hasn't been out as long as the Xbox One, has sold, if not better, as good as it. I know that for a fact. I don't have the numbers or anything, but I know the Nintendo Switch is destroying the game right now. To the point where Sony is rumored to be able to have remote play for the PS5 on the Switch. Why not? So many people have the Switch in their hands. Might as well let people play PS5 games on it too. Xbox xCloud might same thing, a rumor to the Switch. Why not? So what do you mean you're not competing against them? And then here's the other problem too, right? When you open up your mouth and you say things like that, you might spark up something inside a company like Nintendo and Sony. Because what if Nintendo and Sony just wanted to be petty and they heard what you said and you say, you know what, we're going to do something to work together. Then what you going to do? I don't know what they would do, but I'm sure Sony and Nintendo could come up with a plan or some way or another to work together that would then make the Xbox freaking not so enticing compared to the other two systems. I'm just saying. You know what? Before you even want to compete against Google and Amazon, compete against PC first. Do that. Try to compete against PC. What do you mean? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Saying that you don't have competition with Sony and Nintendo. That's your sole competition. That's the only thing you have to beat. That's the only thing. I'm gonna tell you right now, Microsoft, or I'm gonna tell you right now, Xbox, not Microsoft. Okay, you'll be very hard pressed to find a gamer, right? That's gonna have a difficulty picking between Google Stadia and something like the PS5 or the Xbox Series X. You're gonna be very hard pressed to find that because everything the Google Stadia could do, the PS5 is gonna be able to do. That cool trick about streaming to your phone and all that stuff. All these consoles right now could do that. Google Stadia is not doing really anything new, and their stuff is way too expensive, so there's no competition there. I'm gonna say it again. There's no real competition there. And if you're trying to compete against the company Google, there's no competition there either. They're just too big for you right now for Xbox. So I'm sure I'm missing out on something. I'm sure all the Xbox fans are going to hop on and let me know. All you Sony fans that thought I was an Xbox fanboy, I'm not. I'm just calling out how I see it. Not having exclusives, I think, is not a good idea. I think it's a dumb idea, okay? Saying that you're not competing against Sony and Nintendo, I think is a dumb idea. I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, having the games be able to play on the original Xbox and believing, and for y'all use that believe that if a game could play on the original Xbox, it's not going to have any limitation on the newest hardware. How does that even make sense to you? How could you sit there and believe that a game that's going to be able to play on the original Xbox won't be hindered for the development for it to play on the Xbox One X series, like Xbox X series? Like, what does that even make sense to you logically? Like, I don't understand that. But regardless, leave me your comments. Let me know what am I missing. I'm sure I'm missing something. I get a lot of smart people that comment on my videos. I really appreciate it. Keep leaving the long comments. Trust me, I read them. Even if I don't reply right away, trust me, I read them. They give me insight to how you guys think, and sometimes, man, it makes me think a little bit different as well, because it is what it is. But this is crazy to me. That's pretty much it, man. This was more like of a rant than anything else. Just because I felt like I'm a gaming fan and I like when the consoles compete against each other. Like I actually do enjoy it. I don't think anything can compete against PC, but I didn't know that until I got a PC, right? So I was ignorant to that fact. But now that I got it, I see the difference. But I do believe that the next generation of consoles can get close, can get real close to compete against, a low level or mid tier PCs. Like you'll need to have a high end PC to actually have something better. But to say that you're not worried about the PS5 or Nintendo, you have no idea what Nintendo has up its sleeve. Maybe they do come out with a Nintendo Switch Pro. Maybe not next year, maybe not in 2 years, but maybe in 3 years they come out with a Nintendo Switch Pro that's even way better. You never know. You cannot count Nintendo out. They changed the game when they came out with Nintendo 64. They changed the game with the Wii. I know a lot of people don't like the Wii. You just look at the sales. They changed the game with that, and they changed the game with the Nintendo Switch. So don't count Nintendo out. They keep changing the game with the same freaking characters too, with the same games. They literally give you the same games back to back. Dog, Mario Kart is the same game since like Mario Kart. What are we at? 8 Deluxe now. Since Mario Kart, what, like 6? It's been the same game. Mario Kart 64 has been it's the same game, right? Nintendo knows what it's doing. You better put some respect on their name. Sony just whooped you this last generation console. Just destroyed you. Put some respect on their name with a K. That respect on their name. Mad disrespectful, Phil. Pride cometh before the fall. Be careful. I appreciate you taking chances doing new things, Xbox. I really do. I really do. xCloud looks amazing. It looks dope, right? If it works well. But slow your roll. Don't get too ahead of yourself. What it say? Check yourself before you wreck yourself, right? Doc Dog 1985. Yo, there's levels to this. And if you're gonna tell me that Sony is not your competition when they just destroyed you last generation console that just took you to school, man, we out. Peace.